I just use the camel toe.
And the old man says, not if you've got a good hand.
If that sheep tells you anything about me, it's a lie.
Hi, I'm Stuart Lee.
I'm called Richard Herring. Welcome to the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal. It's quite good, isn't it, Stu?
Well, we don't know. It could be, because all we've done since we got here is sit in this flat watching videos of past performances at the festival.
I like that, Stu. I like the flickering colours. It's good.
Well, this week our archive performances are all dealing with the subject of race and religion.
And we're going to be interviewing a famous Jewish man. That's the millionaire comedian David Baddiel, who you'll probably remember from his famous double act with Michael Gove on Channel 4's A Stab in the Dark.
That's right. But religion, is it really a good subject for...
Stupid religion, Stu. I hate it. I hate religion. Just think about it for a second. It's obviously not true, is it? There can't be a God.
Yeah, but I agree with you, but you
No,
can't
there isn't a God, Stu, because, you know, if I was God, right, I wouldn't waste my time making a big universe full of stupid people and then reward the most smug and stupid person for believing in me when I obviously don't exist. No! I'd make a huge cheese toasty sandwich, massive, with pickle, and then I'd stay in bed all day, making my own amusement, if you know what I mean. No, or if I was a Canadian God, I'd make a huge Canadian muffin. The principle's the same. But look, Stu, look around ye. Do you see a massive cheese toasty sandwich anywhere?
No.
Do you see a big Canadian muffin?
No, I don't.
So God doesn't exist. Quid pro quo.
What do you mean quid pro quo?
Quid pro
Surely
quo.
you mean quadirat demonstratum.
I'm God. Words mean whatever I want them to.
All right, OK.
Yeah.
Race and religion. Anyway, look out in this clip's coming up. Look out for a genuinely amusing German.
No, surely
Yes.
not. Does he kill anyone?
No, he doesn't.
I can't
And then
believe it.
following that, the UK's own gorgeous Caroline Aherne before she became famous.
Yeah, Mrs. Merton's here again, and she's dressed as a nun. Hot.
Watch a lot of TV. I've been watching a lot of that new cable channel, OJ TV. And that case is getting on my nerves, but mostly because of all the stupid questions that have suddenly arisen from the case. I actually heard a guy ask, do you think race will be a factor in the O.J. Simpson case? Yeah. It already is. I heard a guy on the radio the other day talking about, it is difficult to imagine the shame which African Americans must feel at O.J. Simpson's predicament. Well, speaking as an African American, I can tell you it's damn difficult to imagine. Because I personally don't feel any shame. But that's the way it is. When you're black in America, certain things are going to be said to you, certain things are going to happen to you. It's just the way life is. Like if you're black in America, you're relatively well-spoken, well-dressed, well-educated. Sooner or later, you can count on one of your white contemporaries turning to you and saying something along the lines of, you know what? You are so damn cool. Sometimes I actually have trouble remembering that you're black. I mean that. Sometimes I forget that you are black. Really? Well, let me marry your sister, and I'm sure it'll pop right back in your mind.
By far, the largest obstacle in my career has been overcoming the stereotype image of the German race. The question is, could such people make me laugh? Well, let me assure you. They have ways to make you laugh. Before I begin with jokes that I have written especially for this evening, I would like to settle your minds concerning this ridiculous notion that Germans are obsessed with mathematical uniformity. This is a total fabrication. Now, joke number one. take my wife, I command you.
People say to me, does God only love Catholics? Well, that's not true. God loves Protestants and Jews and Anglicans. He loves them all. He prefers the Catholics. Who doesn't? Are there any homosexuals in here tonight? People say to me, where does the Bible stand on homosexuality? 3 times in the Bible, Jesus said, "Get thee behind me, Satan." I came over here on Virgin Airlines. Myself and the nuns, we get a discount on Virgin Airlines for some reason. Something to do with subliminal advertising. But I was sitting on the plane reading my Bible. It's a lovely little book, the Bible. He dies in the end, by the way. Probably spoiled it for all you Protestants. How many Protestants does it take to change a light bulb? None. They live in eternal darkness.
My father could go into the grocery store. There was a plot on every grocery store shelf he could find it. Why these black olives in a can? Green olives not in a can. The green olives are in a jar. Why do they have to lock the black olives up? So, there was a plot everywhere, I tell you. I couldn't watch sports when I was a kid. You know, I couldn't watch a pool game. I'd sit at home watching TV. Pool, Dad, this is just 2 white guys playing pool. Can I watch this? Pool is the worst one. You got that one white ball controlling all the colored balls. Yeah. The black ball, the last one in the hole.
And I'll tell you something, gang. I don't mean to get started on the wrong foot. I'm not a racist guy. I live in L.A. I live in the Mexican part of L.A. It's called, L.A. I'm sorry. I just wish there were more Canadians coming into Los Angeles. And I have no problem with the Mexican people. I see why they want to leave Mexico. Have you ever been to Mexico? It's a dirty, filthy, disgusting country. And you would think with all the cleaning women that come out of there, you would think that if each one of them picked up one piece of crap on their way over the fence, it would be a very nice area.
Blimmin' heck, Chucker, old Bobby Slayton was a bit scary there.
I know, he hates the Mexicans.
God, they must be
He
scared.
hates the world, he hates everything. And in fact, it's really scary because we've got to interview him in the last show.
No!
Terrifying. Do you like the way we're building up the tension?
It's quite good. It's like
a trailer for a scary film. I need that money, Tom. Anyway, you were talking there before about how if you were God, you'd make a cheese toasted sandwich, right? So you're saying if you were God, all you'd make in your universe, Rich, is some cheese, some bread...
And some pickle.
And some pickle.
And some muffin mix if it was a Canadian god.
And muffin mix, yeah. And a Breville sandwich toaster.
Obviously, you need that.
And a piece of old rag.
And I'd need a laundrette to wash my bed sheets, so in case any pickle or muffin mix fell on them, obviously. And a man to run the laundrette for me, because I wouldn't want to do that. And some money to operate the machines with.
Yeah, but if you were God, couldn't you just make some machines that didn't need change?
No, because the man in the laundrette needs money. He doesn't need to buy things. Think about it. Think, Lee. Why don't you think?
You're thinking too literally.
No. And he'd need some soap powder and a wife to help him with the laundry. It's quite a hard job, Stu. He needs 2 people and a house for them to live in when they're not washing stuff.
Yeah.
And another laundrette for them to go to because they don't want to wash their own stuff at work, do they? That would be rubbish. And actually thinking about it, you start to see how it all gets out of hand, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can see, can't you? God probably started off with a really simple system like you, and it just grew from there.
Yeah, I've revised my opinions to you. God definitely exists. He is wondrous to behold. Let his love shine down on every corner of the world.
Okay.
He's wonderful to behold.
Anyway, coming up is Phil Kay.
He's from Scotland. Well, if he was a god, he'd probably make a giant piece of shortbread.
Yeah, or a massive haggis.
Yeah, or a deep-fried pizza.
Something Scottish, basically.
Or maybe some other food, you know. They eat other stuff there now as well. He's not from medieval times.
One of the truly unique features of the late 20th century is the incredible abundant proliferation of new religions. We've all heard of the folk who followed the Hale-Bopp comet. We've heard of yogic flyers, those chaps who set themselves on fire in southeast Texas. There's all kinds of religions. It's almost as if there's one for each person. But from the ashes of all those religions, in this conservative part of Montreal has arisen a new religion, one that's more leisurely, one you can take at your own pace. The basic point is it's somewhere between the dogma-laden stuff of Christianity and the crazy dark satanic night rituals of black magic. It's kind of like a beige magic. Here I am in my ceremonial garb. It usually takes me about 5 or 10 seconds to get into it. You probably think I'm naked underneath there, but in fact I'm just wearing my normal clothes. All that really you require is a beige set of bed sheets to wear. You've got to watch out for stains. That's the one thing we're a wee bit, you know, kind of up on. But other than that, it's really up to you. Off you go. Now, it's best to use new sheets, although, it's up to you. You could use a beige duvet, some sleeping bags. But only if you want to. I mean, we've all tried transcendental meditation. It's great for a while, but pretty bloody boring, isn't it? You know, sitting around, nothing happening. You can't go and get a snack, eat some nachos and cream, you know what I mean? This new religion, it lets anything go. It says, if you want to eat pie, eat pie. Well, I've got a beige cat. Ginger's a bit too extreme. It's got a beige cat. It's a bit like Taoism, but it won't get you so many points at Scrabble. And it's a lot less colourful. Even when I get ill, I mean, yesterday I went beige as a sheet. Instead of taking blood on a wafer and transforming them into the body and blood of Christ, we take wine and wafer and just have a little snack, kind of a little get-together, a little, you know, little nibble. Express yourself, but only if you fancy it. It's really up to you, OK? Where most other religions would go as far as worship, we don't really go that far. We kind of go out, and if we like something, we go, not bad. Yeah, I quite like that. It'd be quite nice in a beige, do you think? People are getting involved in it by the tens. Kids have been getting in trouble dancing forwards to Judas Priest played backwards. Hey, well, I danced backwards, Judas Priest played forwards. Judas Priest, Judas Priest, Judas Priest. But we do have our sacraments, like any other religion. One of them is, if you fancy a cup of tea, sit down with your friends and have one. You know what I mean? Milk and two, it's up to you. Recently, a few of my friends have drifted into the off-white. It's not for me. It's like a bank holiday religion, you know. There's not much happening. The shops are closed, but you know you'll get what you want tomorrow. So that was my beige world. Join me, but only if you want to. There is, however, a little bit of the devil still in me. I've got a car, and it's taupe.
Welcome back to the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival here in Montreal. I'm Stuart Lee.
I'm called Richard Herring.
Now, in the first half of the show, we looked at a load of clips of comedians talking about race and religion, the latter of which is particularly pointless, given that there's no Jesus, obviously, and there's no point in talking and giving him the oxygen of publicity.
You can't say that, Stu.
I just did say
there is historical proof that Jesus is the real Son of God, and I believe in him, and anyone who doesn't is silly, as far as I'm concerned. And you should be careful what you say about him, Stu, because Jesus is everywhere.
Is he?
You can hear what you say. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's in the wind, he's in the rain, he's in the airing cupboard, he's hiding behind the boiler, just looking over. He's in space, he's everywhere.
Is he outer space?
He is, Stu. He's in Inner Space, that film with Martin Short in it.
What, is he here in Canada, is he?
He is, Stu. He has to be everywhere. That's being in Canada is part of his job.
He must be a bit bored.
Well, he is, Stu. Obviously, he'd rather be in America, at Disneyland, on the rides and stuff.
Yeah.
And he is, but he still quite likes Canada. You know, he likes the muffins, Stu. They're delicious.
Doesn't like muffins.
He does like muffins. It's in the Bible, Stu. After Mary Magdalene washes Jesus' feet, he gives her a muffin.
Ian, back!
He's brilliant, come on! He's brilliant!
Hi there, how are you? Okay, thanks for answering. It's always nice. It's good to be here. I live in America now. I live in New York. I live in a 52-story walk-up. Thank you. I've been home once. The kids on my street sell crack. When I was a kid, we sold lemonade. They're doing much better. I couldn't afford a bike. They're driving Mercedes-Benz. So the last time I was in Canada was Christmas time. Did anybody else go to my parents for Christmas? Has anybody got one of these mums that drinks at Christmas time? I got one of those mums. I'm gonna need some brandy today. It's a very special day. I have to cook a turkey. And then by noon, she's completely hammered in the kitchen. I've done something different with the turkey this year. I've stuffed it with marbles. Everybody, dance with me. Oh, boy. I like Christmas. I don't understand Easter when you think what it's about. Well, we stuck a guy in a cross. Let's have some chocolate. In the shapes of eggs and bunnies. Hide mine. When I first moved to New York, I stayed with a friend that had a dog that had a crush on me. Have you ever had that happen? I was flattered. I'm like, hey, look, your dog really likes me. That's kind of interesting. Till day 7, I'm like, hey, man, can you get your dog to quit fucking me? Can you do that? I'm sitting on the couch one day and he mounted my shoulder. Have you ever had that happen? It wasn't so bad that he was doing my shoulder, but he wouldn't look in my eyes while he was screwing my shoulder. That's what it looked like. Like, just hold me. That's all I want. Dude, this is a great time. Yeah, you know what I was out there today? I was out there, you know what I seen today? I seen a homeless guy with a pager. Who phones a homeless guy? Yeah, your house is ready. I went to the gay pride parade here the other day. Did anybody else go to that? I go for a different reason than everybody else. I go because there's always a group of 16, 17-year-old lesbians protesting, walking down the street with no tops on. I walk beside them, stare at their boobs. They don't care. They think I'm gay, for Christ's sake. I give them ideas. You should jump up and down. That would be really protesting. Maybe come out on a colder day. That's what I think. I don't live with my parents anymore because I'm 27 and finally I've broken free. I talk to my parents on the phone. They're retarded now that I don't live with them. They must smoke like bales a pot now that I don't live with them or something. They talk to me on the phone at the same time. One person's on a different phone. They're talking to them. They don't make any sense. My dad will pipe up with, "Hey, I seen that kid you went to school with. That kid with the head." Yeah, and then my mom will pipe out of nowhere, "The cat's dead." And then my dad's like, "What does that kid do with his head now anyways, that kid in his head?" "The cat got run over by a car." And then my dad's like, "Has anybody seen the cat?" He's like, "Get off the pot, Mom and Dad." The first time I ever went to America, I went to Mount Rushmore. Have you ever been there? Of course you have, you crazy bastards. Okay. I went there. It's bizarre. You know what it is for anybody that hasn't been there? It's a bunch of heads carved into the side of a mountain. Oh, yes. That's kind of cool, right? Everybody's standing around. Look at heads carved into a mountain. I'm looking at it. Bunch of old ladies looking around. So I'm like bored. So I go, "Hey, did lightning do this?" And the lady beside me goes, "No, it's natural." I'm like, "Well, forget the pyramids. They're landing here." I live with a roommate now. He's a weirdo. He's a weirdo. The other day I'm in my room blow drying my hair naked. Do you do that? Of course you do. Right? So what does he do? He kicks open my door and takes my picture. That's what he does, right? So what I try to cover up my penis with a hairdryer. That's what I try to do, right? So I get the pictures back. I didn't make it in time, right? So in the picture I'm pointing. My penis with the hairdryer. What's going through the poor guy's head that's developing the film? That's what I want to know. You guys have been the sweatiest audience I've ever worked with. Yeah.
I mean, there isn't just the one God, is there? There's hundreds of thousands of different gods. There's gods from all over the world. Heaven must be full. I mean, Buddha must take up a fair amount of space if you think about it. And then there's all the Indian gods. There's hundreds and hundreds of Indian gods. They must live in their own village, all helping each other out. You know? "Shiva, help me with the housework." Why me? Why always me? Have you got my deodorant? I haven't finished with it yet. I haven't.
Today's interview guest is from England. England's David Baddiel.
Hello.
David?
Yes.
You know that David Baddiel?
Yes.
That's you, that is.
No, that's... I see what you've taken my catchphrase and you've kind of rebounded it on me.
Against you. I bet you regret making that up now, don't you?
No, it made me a lot of money.
Oh, God.
And we've struggled for ages to think of some original questions to ask you, because obviously we haven't done a lot of stand-up ourselves. We've done interviews and you get tired of the same old things.
Yeah.
So we put a bit of thought into this. And first up, can you tell us, where do you get your crazy ideas from?
God, that is an original question. God, I'll have to think, because I really haven't been asked it before.
I'm not really a practicing Jew. There is one of the Old Testament commandments that I do live my life by very stringently, and that is I never, ever covet my neighbour's ox. Never. And he's got a fucking nice one as well.
You don't just do stand-up, though. You do other things as well, don't you? So what do you prefer doing? Do you prefer doing stand-up or other things?
Well, sometimes I like doing stand-up and sometimes I like doing other things.
Would you say you're a new lad?
I suppose I am, in some respects, a new lad.
You like pornography, don't you? That's
the real questions. Please get to the real questions. Because we had this idea that this would be funny, and it is funny, but it's actually like depressed me now. That's the thing.
I'm an insomniac. Got any insomniacs in tonight? Yeah, they're like going, yeah. I'll tell you, I don't know if this is true for you, but if you ever tell anyone you've got insomnia, they'll always say the same thing. They'll always go, oh, really? Because I'm always asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. Thanks for that. That's great, OK? If someone comes up to me and tells me, like, you know, that they're blind, I don't say, oh, really? Because I can see perfectly.
OK, well, what you're doing there, viewers at home, is asking David perhaps the worst questions we could think of. But now, the real questions.
Now it's time for the real
earlier on we asked you, for a joke, we asked you where you get your crazy ideas from.
Yeah. Where do you get your crazy
Where do you get them from, really? Where do you really get them from?
Oh, you're not going to move away from it. That's terrible for me.
Get that.
OK.
Oh, this is a real question. Who is the best comedian novelist? You, Stephen Fry, or Hugh Laurie?
Me?
We saw your mum at Wembley pointing at you and saying, there's my son and stuff. Is that, you know, what's she got a lot of input into your gigs from the audience?
My mother, she's a classic Jewish mother. My mother is the sort of woman who, if I fell into a river, would shout, help, come quick, my son, who went to Oxford University, is drowning.
Which is the first time that she came to my recent talk, because there was a pint of beer on stage, and because I'm a new lad, the audience egged me on to drink the pint of beer in one go on stage, because that's what we new lads have to do. Yeah. So I drank the pint of beer in one go. As I put it down, I heard my mum shout out, I hope you've had something to eat tonight. But she does come to a lot of the gigs. But Richard looks a bit like Jesus now, and therefore he could be Jesus of Montreal, which is a joke that I made in the bar, but they're now doing it on stage. But having said that, I do a joke about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Do it now, and I bet they'll laugh at home.
At home?
Yeah.
OK. Kentucky Fried Chicken...
Is PFK here, isn't it?
Because everything here has to be in French, right?
KFC...
is KFC...
everywhere in the
world.
KFC...
is KFC...
in France.
So I think PFK...
that stands for
Petty
French
Canadians. I'll tell you, that gets a big round of applause in Canada. And it's died here. But I didn't do it very well, though, did I? I didn't do it with a real verb.
I helped make that up.
Yeah, he did.
I thought that KFC stuff was really funny.
Yeah, no, it goes really well.
You're normally doing, like, tours at home to big theatres full of people that already know you. So what's it like coming back and starting again in front of strangers?
Yeah, it's really rubbish, is what it is.
Is it? It's terrible, isn't it?
Well, actually, why am I doing this? Well, I have people who come at home and they're my friends already. They love me already, and that's much easier.
I find it more interesting, especially when we're in Adelaide, where no one knows where we are. Yeah, I found it quite good, because it proves, if you make them laugh, it proves that you actually are funny, rather than just going, that's you, that is, like, you still do all the time.
All the time, that's all I do, yes.
I am 100% Jewish in every respect. My best friend is half Jewish. He's got a 2 skin.
The thing I don't understand about Jews, though, is why don't they believe that Jesus is God? Could you explain
why
that?
should I believe in Jesus?
Because it says in the Bible that he is God.
Right.
Thank you very much for coming in. It's David, 3 lines on a shirt, Baddiel. Thank
you very much.
Now, imagine this muffin is the universe, Stu, all right? Now, look, it didn't just pop out of nowhere, did it? It was created by a Canadian. I'm not saying the universe is created by a Canadian, but the principle's the same.
It makes sense, Rich. Look at the facts. Scientists say the universe took 16 billion years to create. Bible says 6 days. Doesn't add up.
Well, 6 days, 16 billion years. What's the difference?
The difference is 15,999,999,999 years, and then 359 days. Or 360 days if it was a leap year. That's the difference.
You're just splitting hairs, Stu. When a Christian says day, he just means a length of time.
Well, it must be difficult arranging to meet them.
It is. But, you know, you wouldn't want to, would you?
Look, anyway, look, God doesn't exist, Jesus doesn't exist, and he doesn't like muffins. That's the fact
He can't not exist and not. How can, if he doesn't exist, how can he not like something,
I'm not going to
Stu?
sit and debate this with you. Thanks very much. See you next time.
Just think about it. Jesus is real, Stu, because you've just admitted it. And if Jesus doesn't exist, who threw the tables over in the moneylenders?
I don't know, the wind blew them or something.
They can't. It was Jesus.
Tomorrow's Britcom chasm, if you will be filled by the ample charms of Page 3 Lovely, Gail Tuesday, in the Marvellous Gales world. After the break, though, it's Ellen, right after Little Robin, animated Swede.
You know, I just love muffins.